And good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today's presentation will take somewhere around 50-55 minutes. We'll see how that goes. It won't be shorter than that, I don't think, and I'll be fielding questions at the end. If after the session you'd like to ask me any particular questions, please feel free to contact me by email, and that's the email address is shown on this screen. So if you know how to spell my name, you'll know my email. It's sam@lazara.net. So thank you very much. Here we go. So the presentation today is going to be parsing and describing in pretty good detail the requirements of the 14971 standard, particularly ISO 14971, and I'll be discussing deviations that are mentioned by the Europeans under the EN ISO 14971 2012 version. But the outline, as you'll see, is going to be going through the requirements clauses, which are shown here in parentheses. So the standard itself, 14971, has a scope and some definitions, but then the actual requirements begin in Clause 3, continuing to Clause 9. So this is the overall agenda. So just to get into the background, so medical device risk management is a pretty broad concept, and over the years, risk analysis was the original notion, and that's been expanded into including what they call now risk evaluation, risk control, and risk monitoring. So risk management, and today we're focused on medical device risk management, it's a product life cycle concept. So it's not something you just do once and you put it aside. You're supposed to be starting risk management at the input stage of product development and continuing it throughout the product life cycle. And again, risk analysis is just the first phase of risk management. Oftentimes I'll run across companies and people who say, hey, we need to do the risk analysis or the risk assessment. Well, that's only a portion of the overall risk management process, so please keep that in mind. So what's the overall goal? The overall goal of risk management is medical device safety, freedom from unacceptable risk. It doesn't mean no risk, because as we know, for some products, risk is inherent. Even the mechanism of action can have a risk aspect. The bottom line here is you need to ensure in the end that the benefit of the medical device exceeds the risks. So there's quite a history here, and there's kind of been an ebb and a flow. Things on risk management and risk in general have become more intense as the years have gone on. It's fully integrated into the quality management standards, more and more so as we move along. In the background, there's ISO 9001 standard, which continues, but in the medical device sector, ISO 13485 is the key standard that we've been utilizing. So if you look at the history here, this is color-coded. This listing of these major milestones. FDA in blue. So FDA actually got us going on this in 1989, what we called the PPQA planning guideline, pre-production quality assurance. And it wasn't until 1997 that FDA actually mentioned risk in a regulation. And in this case, risk analysis is the term that they used in 1997. At that time, in Europe, we had EN 1441 for risk analysis. Again, that's a subset of the overall risk management process the way we know it today. But FDA has recognized ISO 14971. There's a first edition and then a second edition in 2007. And that's kind of where it stops with FDA as far as 14971. In Europe, there's been more expanded interpretations of risk management and what it must entail. And that's really related to the directives in Europe. And I'm only showing one up at the top, 1993, the medical device directive, which applies to most medical devices. There's two other directives, but all of them have some requirements related to risk that are more stringent than the